This situation between the Miami Heat and Jimmy Butler keeps getting uglier and uglier. Now, the Miami Heat have issued a statement of suspending Jimmy Butler for 7 games. Statement read, "We have suspended Jimmy Butler for 7 games for multiple instances of conduct detrimental to the team over the course of the season, and particularly the last several weeks. Through his actions and statements, he has shown he no longer wants to be part of this team. Jimmy Butler and his representative have indicated that they wish to be traded. Therefore, we will listen to offers." So I suspected that the door was going to be slammed shut between Jimmy and the Miami Heat, that there was no way they were going to get reconciliation between these two parties. I just didn't see it happening. I even said in my other video about him that just he's going to get traded. It's just a question of when, but this really makes it official that it's over between him and Miami. This is an official breakup, and this is just Miami sending the message to the whole entire league that Jimmy's available. We're more than willing to deal him, and they'll be fielding offers. That's what it says to me. But when I go to Jimmy Butler, this is a guy, despite being a very talented player, I'll give him that. Just he's had an accomplished career, 6-time NBA All-Star. I think he's made 5 All-NBA teams, so that's pretty impressive. 5-time All-NBA defensive teams he's made. So he's had a good resume. You look at his career, he's gone to the finals twice. But despite being just a very talented player, he's always had this kind of malcontent type of personality. He's always been toxic. And I would trace it back to just his childhood. When he was 13, his mom kicked him out of the house, and he was homeless for a period of time where he was just going back and forth to friends' homes to live, but he didn't have no permanent home. And his mom said, according to an interview to him before she kicked him out of the house, "I don't like the look of you. You got to go." And that was it. So he got thrown out of the home, and he had to find a way to survive. And he did. He got lucky that a friend he played basketball with, I think it was on his high school team his freshman year, that his friend's family took him in, and he had a permanent place to stay throughout high school. So he was able to find a place to live. But I'm sure that traumatized him in a way that he doesn't really trust people. But I also feel in a way that he feels he can do whatever he wants to do, and somehow he'll survive because he survived being thrown out of the home, being homeless. So it can't get any worse. I think that's his mindset. So that's why he doesn't know how to check himself at times, because I think everybody knows that there's a certain limit on how much they can push before you get in trouble at a job. It doesn't matter what type of job, but if you're not in charge, you know the limits. But I feel Jimmy, he always pushes the limits because he feels that he could probably overcome anything after what he overcame as a kid. And just he ruffles feathers. Despite being a hardworking player, being intense on both ends of the court, he does ruffle feathers. Like it happened in Chicago, that they got tired of his act and they traded him to Minnesota. He didn't last that long in Minnesota with the issues he had with Cat and the rest of that team. There was issues going back and forth with them. So that didn't last very long, just I think a year or two, and he got traded to Philadelphia, and that was short, but I don't blame him for Philadelphia. That wasn't his fault. But just going to Miami now, they loved him at the beginning, and now they despise him. So just it's amazing how things go down the toilet quickly with this guy. So I think him being toxic, that could hurt his value throughout the league. I think teams will try to lowball Miami. This is where we're going to find out how good Riley is at negotiating a trade, if he's going to get fleeced or if he'll fleece some other team. Personally, I would like to see him go to the Warriors just for comedy, just him and Draymond. I think that would be a volatile team chemistry-wise with a lot of potential for fireworks. I definitely would love to see that happen just for a comedy. I think Warriors are one of the teams that have a good chance of landing him. They have a lot of assets that they could trade for him. They can trade some draft picks. Houston is a good possibility. That's his hometown. And they have a lot of assets. I think they could move and flip easily for him. I don't know the other teams, but I'm sure other teams will appear in this Jimmy Butler sweepstakes to get him, especially if you're a contending team, you lose a few games. You can start panicking. You can make an irrational decision to get him. So it'll be very, very interesting. But his time is up in Miami. I just don't see it happening for him. Just it's over. This is the end of the Jimmy Butler era in Miami. And I think whoever gets him is going to regret it, because I feel he's on the other side of his prime now. Just he's on the wrong side of 30. Just he's 35, and it's going to be very hard to win with him going forward. Just don't think he's a guy that can be happy, just knowing his personality. And the moment he struggles with his new team, he will take them down too with his toxic, personality. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun to see where he gets traded, where he ends up. And I think it makes the trade deadline more entertaining. It might be a while before Miami pulls the trigger on where they send him to, but he won't be back in Miami for sure. So that's all I have to say.